We sometimes talk about it as a new way of moving freight, where we today have air, rail, boat, trucking, and tomorrow we will have autonomous transportations.
Hi everybody, I'm Jack Roberts. I'm executive editor with Heavy Duty Trucking, and today we're going to have a real treat. We're going to talk autonomous, and we're going to speak with Sasko Cuklev. He's head of on-road solutions for Volvo Autonomous Solutions, and we're going to talk with Jason Gillespie, senior director, continuous improvement and innovation at DHL. They've got some really exciting news to share on the autonomous trucks front, a new partnership between this global P&D service and one of the premier truck OEMs on the planet.
CAT Scale Company provides the professional driver with an accurate and certified weight. We are the #1 choice for professional drivers. Look for the black and gold sign to get the weights you know you can trust.
So how are you guys today?
Doing great, Jack.
Thanks for
Happy
having
to be
us
here.
Sasko, let's talk with you. I was in Greensboro at Volvo headquarters just a couple of weeks ago. You gave us a very interesting primer on where Volvo stands with autonomous technology today. Something really jumped out at me, and that's when you said that, look, this is not just a matter of a new type of truck or a new type of operating trucks. You and Volvo really feel that this is a whole new transportation category. I believe you said as distinct as air freight, as container ships, as rail. Am I right about that? And sort of give us some details on Volvo's thinking on that front.
Yeah, let me explain that. So we have, from the very start, we have been in dialogues with different players in this area, and in the beginning, when we talked to the AD Tech players, they more or less told us like, yeah, let's give me your truck and then we will do the rest. And it is not that simple. And we used to talk about that there is a full ecosystem of players that need to be involved to set this up. And we sometimes talk about it as a new way of moving freight, where we today have air, rail, boat, trucking, and tomorrow we will have autonomous transportations, which will of course have a truck, but it's not the same truck as we have today. It's an autonomous truck, and I guess we'll come to what that means. I think this solution will be implemented where it makes sense, where there is a clear purpose. All the trends, or many of the trends at least, show that the demand for movement of freight will just increase as we go. So we need to come up with new solutions to cope with the challenges that we are facing today. And I think that autonomous solutions will play a key role. That in relation to that, then what we are doing here together with DHL is actually to set this transportation ecosystem up, where we have joined forces with DHL, which we have a long sort of history of innovations behind us. They're really a leader in that, and we really wanted to. I think we reached out to them early on and said, "Hey guys, are you interested in this? We want to see how this future transportation ecosystem should look like, because I don't think anyone has the answer that this is the way it will be." But let's join forces and figure out together. And we have now been working for quite some time on setting it up. And we have sort of the procedures and the processes in place. We have moved freight together for quite some time according to the autonomous process. But we have done that up until now with a manually driven truck and a driver. And now we are at the stage where we start to introduce autonomous driving. So we will start to operate according to the autonomous process that we have then set up, but with the autonomous trucks, with a safety driver on board still. And then the last step will be to finally remove the safety driver and make that into a full autonomous transport solution.
Jason, let me kind of hand the ball off to you on this next play. I'm an Alabama grad, so I have to do everything with football analogies. From DHL's perspective, why has your company chosen to be an early innovator in what is disruptive technology, transformative technology, take your pick. I personally have believed for a long time this is a solution that makes a lot of sense on a lot of multiple fronts. But why don't you give us y'all's perspective on why now, why Volvo, and what you guys are looking to achieve?
There's like you said, DHL and Sasko set me up well for this. We are a very forward-thinking company. We want to be innovative. We want to be early adopters. We have innovation centers where we put robotics in front of our customers and say, this is what we do. It's not 10 years from now. It's not 5 years from now. It's now. And we've been a big believer that the autonomous trucking for Class 8s is a great fit because of the length of haul, because of safety, and really then there's the demand of the driver shortage. There is a nationwide shortage of drivers. The driving profession isn't as well, there's not as good of a human capital pipeline to that anymore to make sure those seats are filled. So, there's kind of that demand side, and then there's, really again, we just want to be forward thinking and adopt these new solutions. There's safety benefits, there's sustainability benefits, and all of that. And then to touch on, I think what your last point was, why Volvo, as Sasko mentioned, we've got a long-standing partnership across, both companies and many places. Their focus on safety and our focus on safety, and I'd say our overall cultures are a great fit, and that was a big deal for us. And why we kind of both said to each other, hey, let's do this together. Let's figure this out. So there's a lot to figure out. Anytime you go into blaze new territory, there's a risk with that. But the other thing I want to add, and maybe I'll touch on more later, these are real shipments with real customers, real DHL customers. This isn't DHL moving DHL freight, right? This is DHL moving our end customers' freight to their end customer location. So there's a high criticality that we perform correctly, we get things there on time and safely and in whole. So all of that is coming into play as well, and that's why we knew we could work with Volvo on that and how important it was.
So let's take another tack on this. Let's assume there's a fleet manager in, I don't know, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, who's watching this right now. And this question is for both of you. What is it like in the real world to work with an OEM and begin outfitting Class 8 trucks with autonomous technology? I would think the first thought would be, oh my gosh, this has got to be insanely complicated. How are we going to do this? I would think you're going to have to adjust your operational model. For both of you, just kind of give a private fleet manager watching this interview some idea what because I believe this is coming. And what is that process going to be like when it arrives?
So Sasko, maybe I'll start on this one.
You start.
So as a former private fleet manager, I can say that I wouldn't want to try to figure it all out. I would want someone to bring me the solution and say, yes, this is coming. There's a way to do it, and make it as simple as possible for me. Because my first question, if I didn't know any better, would be, what do you do for all the non-driver activity that drivers perform? How do you do the pre-trip inspection? How do you fuel the vehicle? How do you do all these service? Volvo Autonomous brought all that to us and said, here's how we're going to do it, right? So providing it as a service and not as just, hey, here's some cool technology, you go put it into your trucks, which we've talked to those guys, right? And we said, well, we're not sure that's the game we want to be in. We're not sure we want to be the ones doing that retrofitting, taking the chances, figuring those things out on our own. So I think that's key for me. And then Sasko, if you want to build on that.
Yeah, and for us, I will build upon that, Jason. For us, it has been important that we early on, or we all the time have said that we do not have all the answers about how this will end up. We believe that we have our hypothesis and our beliefs on how it will play out. But we want to join forces with our customers and the fleets to figure out, to understand, to do it together, and that is what we are doing with Jason and the team at DHL. So we are setting up all these processes, procedures, responsibilities, who does what. We have set up terminals. It is Aurora, our AD partner. They are terminals, but they're part of our solution. So we have set up you can say the whole ecosystem to be able to introduce the autonomous functionality here, and we have done that together with our customers, which has been super important for us. So if you talk to the fleet owner here, that is what I would say. Let's join forces and work together to do this implementation.
Tired of dealing with less than ideal roads? So is Apollo Truck Tires, which is why we've engineered our Endutrax line for North America's toughest surfaces. From construction sites to gravel roads, Apollo Tires conquers the worst conditions with an industry-leading performance guarantee. In other words, they're smart tires for not smart roads. Visit ApolloTruckTires.com to learn more.
Okay, screen pass now back to Jason. So another question. So how does this work in day-to-day operations? Do the trucks know where they're going? How do they know when they're loaded? Is there a human in a mission control module somewhere? Is that person Volvo? Is he a DHL employee? Walk us through how you fire one of the trucks and get it out on the road.
So from my side of it, this is where Sasko makes it real easy for me. So I'm going to basically tender the load to the Volvo Autonomous provider. They're going to look like a carrier to me, and then they're going to handle all of that. So really, I'm going to measure their performance, and I'm going to measure, the same milestones and metrics we would hold any of our other carriers accountable to, which we have been doing with regular manual operations up to this point to get comfortable with it. So yeah, really, it's easy for me because they're just another carrier with just a little more complexity initially, right? Because we're adding these hubs, we're adding the kind of the first mile manual, the hub-to-hub autonomous, and then the last mile manual. So that's really the only difference to me. So it's really been critical. And like I said, when you asked about, as a fleet manager, I don't want it to be complicated, and I don't want to make it harder on any of my operations. So that's been really critical. Because when we first started looking at these solutions, those were the same questions we had. It's like, how much of this do I own? How much of this do I want to own? Right. So again, Sasko and the team brought us a package solution that says we're going to handle all of it. You tender to us just like a carrier.
So one other question. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sasko.
No, just on our side then, we early on discussed this and said, like, we want to make it easy for our customers to onboard a new technology like this. And the best way for us to start with is to offer the full package. And that is what we have done here together with towards DHL. So we are the single point of contact. We take care of the activities. Of course, there's been a lot of discussions about where does that borderline sort of go? What does DHL do? What do we do? And so on. So that has been a big learning for us. So we start by offering this as a transport as a service. As we go, that setup can be different. We might have another type of business model going forward, depending on what DHL want, and we work with several carriers as well, and that model maybe will look differently towards our carriers. But also there, we wanted to start with offer this as a transport as a service again, to not jeopardize their day-to-day operation. We want to make it easy for them to onboard, understand, get the learnings together with us, and then what business models we should use going forward, we will listen to what our customers want.
Jason, you mentioned pre-trip inspections a minute ago. So another part of this that has interested me for a very long time is people say, well, what's going to happen to the driver jobs? And you referenced the driver shortage. I did an article a few years ago where I reckoned that if you were doing a coast-to-coast fully autonomous haul, an individual truck would probably need anywhere from 15 to 25 human workers to interact with it on some level during its journey across the country. So that's my way of setting up my next question, and this is for both of you. What are your thoughts on the role of humans in an autonomous truck age? Are you sort of contemplating there might be new roles? Maybe there is a mission control guy. He's got 2 computers and he's managing 6-10 trucks every day. Certainly need for technicians. You got to check safety systems, all these things. So just generally, what I know we're very early in the dawn of this technology, but both of you, what do you see on that front happening?
Sasko, you can start that one.
Should I start? First of all, back to what I said in the beginning, I really see this as a complement to what we have today and not a replacement. So it's not like and then suddenly we'll only see autonomous trucks. I mean, we're talking about small volumes here to start with. And if you think of it, as I started to talk, that this is maybe a separate mode of transportation, it's not. That means that the standard trucking will not disappear. But then for specific use cases, specific applications, and what we are aiming is more the longer runs, where we have challenges when it comes to the drivers and so on, being out from their families and on the road for several days, weeks. Those types of applications is what we are aiming for. So of course there something will happen. I definitely foresee, like you mentioned, new types of roles, people sitting in a monitoring center, control tower, or whatever you call it. We have technicians, field operators. We talked about the inspection. We have the enhanced pre-trip inspection that we're looking into setting up in the operations that we have, and so on and so on. So yes, I definitely think that there will be new roles that will be created in relation to the autonomous transport, the new autonomous transport solutions.
Yeah.
Jason?
And the only thing I'll add to that is that the current safety drivers are sitting in the vehicle, and they're usually very excited about this and being part of this, testing the vehicle, providing feedback to the team on where they've had to maybe intervene, or where they maybe thought a decision could have been made differently. So they've got a critical role in this, as we learn.
So let's talk on the way out the door here. Let's talk about the news, why you guys are here today. Pretty exciting stuff. These are real world operations. Just give our viewers some idea of the significance of this news, length of haul, how the weather's been, how the operations have been to date. Just anything you guys think is interesting and pertinent to go along with this really exciting piece of news today.
No, but I can start. I mean, of course, this is a very big milestone for us, where, as I mentioned, we have been working for quite some while now together with DHL to set the autonomous process up, and all of those processes, procedures, responsibilities, the whole digital and IT solution to be able to follow the load and so on. That is sort of, so you can say that the ecosystem is in place. I mentioned as well that we have our dealers involved, the Volvo dealers that will support us from a service and maintenance perspective. We have backup solutions available in case we cannot pull the load autonomously. So basically we have the first version of the ecosystem up and running, and now we take the step to start to introduce autonomous drives in that. So of course that is for us a huge milestone. That was the big target for us for this year, and that we can do that with DHL is of course super good, because we onboarded with them early on. So a proud moment for us, and a big milestone. So now we can really start to test the full sort of autonomous process also with autonomous functionality. We will start between Dallas and Houston. We have a couple of trucks there as we speak. We have our launch fleet built in our new River Valley factory in Virginia, comes out from the line there. So from
now,
our
let me interject here, Sasko. In Greensboro 2 weeks ago, you told us it was very important from your perspective. This is integrated on the assembly line in New River Valley, full dealer support. Volvo is approaching this as a distinct, fully integrated, fully supported product, correct?
Yes, that is what we are aiming at. So the launch fleet has been built already in our New River Valley factory with parts of the Aurora Driver built in from the scratch in the factory, and then the intention is to get the product out from our final assembly line, because that is how we will be able to secure a real industrialized product and scaling with the right quality measures, which has been super important for us. So this is not about, yes, we have a truck and then we upfit it. We want to build it according to what we talk about, like the right way from the start, and according to our processes within our factories.
Jason, from your perspective, what's going on?
Yeah, to build on that last point, that was critical for us, because we have talked to and seen the other autonomous companies that are retrofitting existing Class 8s. And so we were very big believers and excited when Sasko brought to us, hey, here's how we're going to do it, and we're going to build this fit for purpose for autonomy. But back to your original question, if you know anything about supply chain and transportation, the less interesting it is, the better. And so when operationally, I don't want to hear, so it's picking up on time, it's delivering in full. That's really what's critical for us. And it's going to be a key milestone that we don't disrupt the operation. I want to disrupt the industry, but not the operation, right? So that's been key for us.
I guess as we get ready to wrap this up, I think one of the things that has fascinated me about this from its inception is when you look at all the things that this could do in terms of driver shortage, fuel economy, emissions. We haven't even discussed those aspects of this yet. Efficiency gains, super exciting. So I guess my final question as we get ready to head out the door here, guys, is what are you hoping to learn from this? What encourages you? Where do you think we're heading next?
I can start with that one real quick. I mean, you touch on it, proving out the sustainability aspects is critical for us, showing the efficiency. It doesn't hard accelerate, hard brake, make decisions because it's sleepy.
We didn't even talk about maintenance.
Yep. Yeah. All the preventative maintenance that you are doing because you are driving, the most efficiently as you possibly can, or the autonomous driver has been taught that way. It's not idling at at stops as much, or keeping the engine running to stay warm. So there's so many aspects of that we're excited to prove out and really just kind of gain that public acceptance of, hey, let's not be afraid this is coming. Let's give it a shot and see how it does to help us out. And Sasko?
Yeah, and from us, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much the same. We want to be able to prove the solution now. And I talk about the solution. It's not only the technology again. It's not only that we should prove that we are able to drive autonomously, but that we have the more holistic view and the ecosystem up and running. And how do we handle maintenance and service? How do we engage with our dealers? What kind of different vendor points do we have? We are building a network of dealer and vendor points along these two first routes now. What happens if we get a flat tire? Ultimately, I mean, the ultimate goal for us is to help DHL to deliver the load in time. So we have sort of created a solution where we can do that. We have roadside assistance, we have backup solutions, we have our dealers in place, the terminal set up together with Aurora, then of course personnel there to stand by and be ready. I mean, that whole system solution we will now start to be able to test and evaluate and prove, which is I think that is a key to make this into a commercial solution.
Well, it's exciting news. It's been a long time coming. Be very interested to see where this goes. Sasko, Jason, thank you both today for your thoughts and insights. And we look forward to seeing what happens next down there in the great state of Texas with Volvo Autonomous Solutions and DHL.
All right.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.